Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let's introduce myself. My name is Sufyan and I'm from class B. My student number is H0122033. In this video, I would like to read my summary, all materials since first meeting until seventh meeting. Okay. In the first meeting, the lecturer explained the course contract and introduced what language testing is and what will be learned in the language testing course. The explanations of the lecture contract includes the grading system that will be applied about attendance, the implementations of exams, and other rules as how to dress and so on. The course contract is explained in the first week. Then on the second meeting, the lecturer explains about language testing. Language testing is an assessment of a person's ability to use language. Language testing usually done to evaluate language skills in the context of school, college, universities, and in the workplace. Okay, next, in the third meeting, there was a presentations from the first group discussion about assessment concepts and issues. So the concept of assessment is the process of collecting data and information to make decisions about learning. While a problem is something that needs or must be resolved or a situation that needs to be improved, in this case specifically in language testing. There are 5 types of language tests and their purposes. That is achievement test to assess achievement against the curriculum. Next, diagnostic test to identify weaknesses and shortcomings of a test. Next, placement test to determine level and ability. The next, proficiency test to measure overall language ability, and aptitude test to measure ability to learn a language. Okay, next, the third week, and the for meeting. So in this meeting, a presentation by a group 2 discussed the principles of language assessment. So the principles of this assessment are 5, namely practicality. It means that it must be practical and not troublesome. The second is reliability, must be consistent and trustworthy. The third is validity, meaning that the test we give is really done to measure what we really want to measure. And the first is authenticity, being able to find out how far a test or task is in accordance with what happens in the real world. Finally, is was back the impact or influence on the teaching process between teachers and students according to Hager 2003. Okay, next, the fifth meeting. The fifth meeting, the material on design classroom language test was explained by group 3. It was about the assessment scenarios and determining the skills to be assessed. There are 4 assessment scanners, namely reading quiz to test reading comprehension, grammar test, midterm essay to test students' ability to write essays, and the last is listening and speaking to measure listening comprehension, and of course, speaking skills. The skills that are usually measured are grammar, speaking, listening, reading, and writing. Assessment and feedback after the test is given, and written comments on strengths and weakness. Okay, next, the sixth meeting was the presentations of the material on standard-based assessment. So standard-based assessment is an assessment that relies on evaluating a student's understanding of agreed standards. Standards-based assessments focuses on determining students' progress towards the learning objectives of the subject. The principles of standards-based assessment are usually competency-based, transparency, students development-oriented, and evidence-based. Standards-based assessment is different from traditional assessment. Standards-based assessment evaluates students' work with rubrics and proficiency scales, whereas traditional assessment students still receive numbers, percentage, grades, or letters on an assignment. Okay, the last is the seven meeting before mid before midterm. So the seven meeting, the material presented by group 5 discussed standardized testing. So standardized testing is a test that is given and meant to collect data about the level of skills, abilities, and knowledge. A standardized test is defined as a type of test that is standard or consistent in scoring all candidates who take the test with the same questions. Types of standardized tests are aptitude, achievement, psychological, statistical assessment tests, and advanced placement exams. One of the advantage and disadvantage of standardized testing is that the product already exists or is available, but the possibility of inappropriate use of the test. So I think that is my summary. I hope uh, you can understand what I read. I think that is enough. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.